Recently, my wife and I rewatched Fellowship of the Ring for the umpteenth time, and after talking about how well it holds up after all these years, while the credits rolled, she wondered if I had ever seen the Neverending story. And at the tender, innocent age of 34, I had not. Released in 1984, it is known and revered as a legendary movie. That night, we decided to put it on, and I was prepared to kind of, grin and bear it. I wasn't expecting to be totally reeled in from the get-go, figuring it'd be just one of those movies that hits really hard when you're a kid and has maintained its status through the rose-tinted glasses of people who saw it when they were young and impressionable. No way, I thought. No way this 40-year-old movie could have such an impact on me, nearing middle age and awash in its cultural reverberations. I was sure I'd know all the beats and all of its impacts, but it delightfully blew my expectations out of the water. It's an amazing movie, and if you've never seen it, I highly recommend that you stop this video and you go check it out as soon as possible. And only about 20 minutes in, I had a crazy realization. The Neverending story is a Soulslike. I guess Souls is a Neverending story like. Please, at the end of this video or during it, if you notice any comparisons that I might have missed or you would like to point out, leave them down in the comments because I would love to hear about them. So with all that preamble out of the way, let's just get into it. And thank you for watching. First off, character creation. Bastion has a tough life and no mom in sight, an overbearing dad and almost zero friends. He is given a very fortuitous and vague warning and enticement into a forbidden book, and is immediately thrust into a world he does not understand. And just like everyone who makes their own character for the first time, Atreyu looks an awful lot like Bastion, but just like a little cooler. Then we blast right into the meat of the story and meet our first characters. These are absolutely on-media res NPCs that are following their own obtuse quest line, including a giant snail, a giant bat, a tiny thief who reminds me an awful lot of Greerat from DS3, and a kind of standard human who would normally be jarring amongst this backdrop and his supporting cast, but somehow it just fits right in. It's just like in Dark Souls, there's like totally normal-ass humans just paired right against these fucking monstrosities. And then, right off the rip, this world has stone giants. The Souls games themselves are ripe with giants, but they're never fleshy. They always appear more stone-like and golem-esque, similar to Rockbiter here, the giant in Neverending Story. Up next, the magical pendant, Arin, that Atreyu is given, does almost nothing. It's just like the pendant from Dark Souls 1. Now, Atreyu does ask it to guide him to the ivory tower at the end, and it glows, but then it's already right in front of him. The ivory tower was right in front of him right when he asked the question, so I think he would have found the ivory tower if he just waited like 5 seconds. It's a trick MacGuffin given to the main character to think they're the chosen one. Atreyu was trolled, just like everyone else who picked the pendant for their starter item in Dark Souls 1. What's next? A swamp. A goddamn swamp. The only thing missing is poison, but it's not missing some death. Death comes early, swiftly, and unforgivingly. If only it was a poison swamp, then this whole video would be completely undebatable and I could just end it here. The horse Artax dies. Also, what are these names? They're all weirdly Germanic, just another point of reconnaissance for the whole link here. When Artax dies, it feels just like tasting your first real death in a Souls game. And I don't just mean that very first, oopsie or scripted death, but that first death where you lose a massive amount of souls and you cannot make it back to your body. That's what the death of Artax feels like. And you only know this horse for a couple minutes. This scene worked on me, and I'm a goddamn adult, legally. What else we got here? Giant omniscient dogs? I mean, how do they know so much while being stationary?
Well, that is a shame. But who can blame you?
Let's go back to that council room scene, because there are some very Souls-like characters in this part. There's giant headmen, multi-faced people, just like the Twin Sage sorcerers and other denizens of the Raya Lucaria Academy. How about Falcor? Does Falcor remind you of anybody from Dark Souls? Check this out. He's Frampt. Frampt is Falcor. They're the same thing. Look at this. The Sphinx's first victim looks like the various knights from Elden Ring. And then right after the Sphinxes, there's a fog wall, which is the Gate of Mirrors. The second Sphinx Gate looks just like the Elden Ring Underground, the Siofra River. Does the giant wolf seem familiar to you? He's the Farron Watcher wolf. All this bastard Gamork needs is a sword in his mouth. He even follows a pretty tragic and sad trajectory, just like Sif. This movie and these games definitely lead you to sympathizing and understanding your enemy, which is a really powerful sentiment. The princess totally reminds me of Priscilla. Half-breed. The half-breed lady. Look at this.
I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, just get a look at that.
The stone giant at the end of the movie, he loses all of his friends.
Good, strong hands.
And to me, this is just like how you can lose story NPCs in Dark Souls. I mean, look at this. He even repeats his dialogue.
They look like good, strong hands, don't they?
There is a message of hope and overcoming adversity, and that's kind of the whole metaphor of these pieces of media, right? You will fail, and you will lose. But if you just keep trying, you keep on learning, keep on fighting, you will eventually succeed. Remember, people who have no hopes are easy to control, and whoever has the control has power. Also, the f***ing ending is New Game Plus. After a total destruction of Fantasia, Bastion basically presses a button and goes back to the beginning. He goes back into real life with all his upgrades and companion and totally bodies those bullies. Did the Neverending story invent the concept of New Game Plus? Yes, that's why it's called the Neverending story. Now I'd like to talk about why I think the Neverending story sequels are underappreciated and actually better than the first one.